It looks like Marvel has woken up and realized there is a legal issue going on and it involves them a little bit. And so they have finally reached out to the judge. Let's read this motion really quickly, shall we?
F around and find out. F around and find out. F around and find out. F around and find out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of F Around and Find Out. Well, Marvel has officially entered the conversation, and this one is making me a little bit annoyed and a little bit nervous. I mean, not in the sense that, you know, anything catastrophic is going to happen, but I feel like Marvel might get out of this, which in turn might help Ryan Reynolds. So let's just read the letter to the judge and let me tell you what I think about it, even though I'm not a lawyer. So go get your law stuff from somebody else. This is just going to be my opinion. The easiest way to explain this, as somebody who's not a lawyer who just seems to think they understand a lot, Marvel is not a party in this lawsuit, okay? Nobody's suing Marvel. Justin is not suing Marvel. Blake is not suing Marvel. Marvel is not in this. However, Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer and Brian Friedman are saying they need information from Marvel that could help bolster their claims as far as Nice Pool is concerned on Ryan Reynolds' part, right? So they need Marvel to provide some information that could help them. Marvel is now writing this letter to Judge Lyman / motion because Judge Lyman doesn't really do motions. We've seen these letters from the beginning. You do still, however, have to cite case law, right? So Marvel is saying we don't want to give up stuff that we don't know really has anything to do with anything, even though we know from Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy's mouth that they created Nice Pool on set. Like, Nice Pool was never part of the process. Marvel didn't come up with Nice Pool. But Marvel is pretty much trying to say, like, they have, like, trade secrets to protect. And they could use a Nice Pool again. Let's just read the letter and hopefully everybody can understand it the way I understood it. Dear Judge Lyman, this firm represents non-party Marvel Entertainment LLC, Marvel. We write pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 26 and 45, Rule 4.c of your Honor's Individual Practices and Paragraph 10 of the Protective Order to request that the court quash the subpoena issued to Marvel from the Wayfarer parties. Quash, smash, squash, the idea is the same. Like, you want to throw it away. You want to destroy it. You don't want it to be a thing, right? Quash the subpoena issued to Marvel from Wayfarer parties and issue a protective order prohibiting the disclosure of Marvel's confidential documents by any party or other non-parties in this action. Alternatively, Marvel requests that the court state the return date of the subpoena and related documents until after the court decides the pending motion to dismiss of counterclaim defendant Ryan Reynolds. All I understand by that is we want you to quash, we want you to throw away, we want you to get rid of, whatever Wayfarer wants us to give up, right? Because as of right now, we know Justin and Wayfarer want Marvel to give up certain stuff that proves the whole Deadpool, Nice Pool link. Marvel is saying we don't want to give that up, right? We want you to protect us from it. But in the case that you don't want to do all that, we're just saying for right now, don't let us give up anything until you decide if you're going to dismiss Ryan Reynolds' portion of the case or throw the whole case in the trash, because we do know Ryan has submitted to dismiss the whole case and the judge right now hasn't decided. Brian Friedman and Wayfarer and Justin's team have responded to that request, but they don't have an answer from the judge yet. So they're pretty much telling the judge, we want you to quash the subpoena. We want you to throw the subpoena in the trash. Tell us we don't have to give anything up. But in the case that you don't do that, for right now, we're just saying wait till we find out this case is actually going anywhere before we agree to give anything up. The subpoena concerns the creation and development of one of the characters in Marvel's film Deadpool and Wolverine. Marvel is aware that the Wayfarer parties have served document requests for the same documents from Reynolds. As discussed more fully below, the requested documents are proprietary and highly confidential, and their disclosure is likely to substantially harm Marvel. It's Nice Pool, get over it. Furthermore, the documents are irrelevant to the claims in this case. Maybe, maybe not. The disclosure of these documents would be improper and inconsistent with the federal rules. Background regarding Marvel, Deadpool, Wolverine, and the allegations at issue. Deadpool and Wolverine features a number of different versions of the Deadpool character, including Lady Pool, dog pool, kid pool, head pool, and nice pool. The waiver parties make brief references to nice pool in the first amended complaint. Specifically, they allege that Reynolds and Lively continued to leave breadcrumbs in their campaign for mocking and bullying defendant and counterclaim plaintiff Justin Baldoni by including Nice Pool in Deadpool and Wolverine as a vicious caricature of Baldoni, and that scenes with Nice Pool were intended to be transparent and mocking portrayal of Reynolds' warped perception of Baldoni. Marvel further understands from a notice provided by Reynolds that the call for Nice Pool related documents from Reynolds. On a motion to quash, the party issuing the subpoena must demonstrate that the information sought is relevant and material to the allegations and claims at issue in the proceedings, after which the burden shifts to the movement to demonstrate undue burden imposed by the subpoena. A court may quash the subpoena if it requires disclosing confidential research, development, or commercial information. Pursuant to the protective order in this case, a third party may seek a protective order or order relief from this court when a party to the action is requested to produce discovery material that is subject to contractual or other obligations of confidentiality owed to the third party. Lively Wayfarer Studios, blah, blah, blah. A protective order prohibiting the production of documents is warranted where the request of documents exceeds the scope of discoverable information under Rule 26, non-privileged matter that is relevant to the party claims or defense and proportional to the needs of the case. The requested documents are neither relevant nor material. The documents at issue are irrelevant to the resolution of the claims asserted in this case. To survive, the waiver party's claims against Reynolds for defamation and false light must be based on false statements of fact, not merely ideas or opinions. We're back to those opinions. Opposed to assertion of fact are deemed privileged and no matter how offensive cannot be subject of action or defamation. We're going to jump down here because that's just a bunch of case law. The requested documents are all immaterial. The waiver parties certainly have other less burdensome means through which they can obtain relevant information, if any exist, from the parties in the action, such as the request for admission of a party deposition. The documents are proprietary and confidential, and their disclosure would harm Marvel. Even assuming arguendo, the requested documents are relevant and material, the court should still prohibit their disclosure because the requests are unduly burdensome and they seek highly proprietary and confidential documents, the disclosure of which would harm Marvel. I'm going to stop right there, and it's only because it's bringing me back to which is which, because on one end, we have Ryan Reynolds in his motion to dismiss saying, even if I said all these things, even if I called him a predator, even if I made fun of him as Nice Pool, it does not constitute suing me. It's pretty much him being hurt and having hurt feelings. But now Marvel is saying it doesn't have anything to do with anything. So I want to know, is it hurt feelings or does it have something to do with something? Because you can't say, oh, I didn't talk about you. I didn't mean to hurt your brand or whatever. It was just me talking and you feeling a way about it. It's just you haven't hurt feelings. But on the other end, Marvel is like, oh yeah, we don't have to give anything up because it has nothing to do with nothing. That doesn't sound the same to me. It sounds like two different stories. And I'm going with Ryan Reynolds saying he did it, but it doesn't mean anything, rather than Marvel saying it doesn't even exist. So don't even bother letting us give that information up. It's just, this one seems very bizarre to me. I feel like Marvel might get away with this. You don't quash the subpoena, you don't hide stuff if you don't have anything to hide, even though I understand Wayfarer is another studio and Marvel doesn't want to give their stuff up to Wayfarer. The problem is Wayfarer is not trying to make Marvel type of movies. So you really don't have anything to fear over there, but I still get it. They're still a studio. They can change their mind and produce whatever they want to produce when they want to. But in the same breath, if there's really nothing there to hide, and in fact, the information there helps Ryan, why don't you give it up? But I guess it's not that easy, huh? I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge of this one. But I feel like Marvel might get away with this. I feel like the judge might comply. But on the brighter side, we do have time for Brian Friedman to respond to this. He's going to have a couple of days to, sit with his team, sit with Justin, sit with everybody, read through what they need to read through, and respond to this to the judge saying, they're saying we don't need it for A, B, C, and D reasons. We're saying we need it for A, B, C, and D reasons. And the judge is going to have to be the tiebreaker there and say, you're right. It doesn't matter. They don't need it. Or you're right. You do need it. It does help your claim. So we'll find out when we find out. This is getting interesting as we go because Marvel stance is interesting to me. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you for tuning in for this one. I hope to see you on the next one. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I continue to thank you guys for your continued support, and I'll see you again. Have a good one. Bye-bye.